What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Comic Book Corner. I'm Steve.
And I'm Joe.
And we're here to talk comic books with you. We host a show called Dinner and a Podcast with our buddies Mike and Seb, but each week we want to share our thoughts on our favorite comics, new and old. This is a review show, so there will be spoilers, and all the books that we discuss will be listed in the show info below, so please check that out before you listen. If you want us to read any books or hear our thoughts on any particular writer or artist, please contact us on social media at Dinner and a Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or you can email us at dinnerandpodcast@gmail.com. What's your pull list? What are you reading? What should we be reading? This week's main book that we're going to be talking about was a suggested book by one of our fans, if not our biggest fan, Phil Batista. Mm-hmm. And he suggested that we read Siege, Marvel's Siege. I'm glad he suggested this book because I really, really enjoyed it.
It's great.
We'll get into it more in a bit. I was lucky enough to get it on Comixology Unlimited for free.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't have to go buy it.
I owned it.
You owned it already. Yeah. So that's good. I checked it out on Comixology, and I was able to get it for free, which you can't get everything for free on Comixology, which I was surprised at.
There's a lot of stuff that you can't get. Like if you see things that you want to, that are in stores, and you go on there, like a lot of books are unavailable.
No, it's all, like they're not even available to buy some.
Right.
You got to like wish list it or something. And then when it's available, it'll come to you. Yeah. I think I signed up for, it was a 1 month free membership. And then after the 1 month, it starts billing you at like $5 a month.
Oh, okay.
And then I saw some of the books on it, and I'm like, yeah, this is probably a good deal. Like, I want to read Saga, and all of Saga is on there for free. The Boys, I heard, is really good.
Okay.
I want to read that. That's on there. All of Letter 44 is on there. Like, all the non-Marvel, non-DC books that I want to read are all on there. And I don't want to buy trades. Yeah. That's just too expensive. So I'm going to keep it. And
Amazon.
you can get Todd Knox's online book, his digital book. It's called Spidey's School's Out.
Oh, right.
It's actually pretty good, and it looks gorgeous. But it's a fun book, too. I do have some news. I think I'm the news guy on this show.
I think you are.
I think that's awesome. I have a new website that I shared with you, and I shared with one other person.
Okay.
And I'm not going to share it on the air because I don't want it to get shut down.
Okay.
But it's a website that I found that has every single book that like has ever come out since like Action Comics #1 digitally uploaded to their website. And you can read it for absolutely free. It's like Sebi would love this website because Sebi's all about the illegal downloads and the pirating of movies and stuff, just like me. I was the way I came about this website was I was looking for artwork that matched a piece of artwork that I had. So a while back we went to New York Comic Con last October.
I remember you telling me about this.
And we ran into a guy named Matthew Clark, and Matthew Clark was an artist, and he had a whole bunch of miniature comic book page art. Now, when I say that, people might be confused. A regular comic book page that an artist draws on is 11 by 17 inches. It's a very big piece of paper, a piece of Bristol board. And what Matthew Clark does, is he Xeroxes them at a smaller size. He Xeroxes them at like a letterhead. So it's 11 by 8, I think is the normal letter size, 11 by 8.5 or something like that.
Yeah.
So that he can just sketch. So that it's not the final artwork that he gives to the publisher because he does that on the big piece of paper, but he just sketches on these. So he had a pile of them, and I was like, "Well, how much for the sketches?" And he's like, "Oh, it's $10. They're just rough sketches of the artwork before I put them into the books." So I went through all of them, and they're really, really thin. So there must have been 200-300 of them. It was almost like a ream of paper. And I found two really good pieces of art. I found one piece of art with Spider-Man swinging through the city with Howard the Duck on his back, and I found an piece of artwork from. It had Batman, Robin, and Batgirl in 4 different panels on one page, and I was like, "This is awesome!" And I was like, "How much?" And he's like, $10 for each of them. And I was like, "How am I gonna pass that up? I get Robin, Batgirl, them together in a panel, and then Batman by himself in a panel for $10, hand drawn. Like it's the pencil drawing. It's not a Xerox of his pencils.
It's an original.
It's his pencils." Yeah. So I bought it, and then my brother-in-law told me, he's like, "It'd be really cool if you found the book that this came out of." And framed it with it. Find the actual comic book page that it came out of. So now I have no idea how to go about finding out.
Like a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, really. It's a needle in a haystack.
Batman comics.
Well, at least I knew the guy's name because a lot of art that I have just has a little scribble signature
Right.
on the side, and you don't know, you can't read it.
Yeah, you got to hope he didn't do a big run of Batman, though. That's easily hundreds of pages.
Exactly.
I mean, if he does 6 issues, that's still a lot of art
120 pages
to go through.
Yeah.
But
So it says Matthew Clark. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go on Google, and I'll just Google Matthew Clark.
right,
I actually, you know what I did? I went on Comixology. I said Matthew Clark, and I see whatever comes up, because all the DC stuff and Marvel stuff will come up from him.
right.
So only about 3 or 4 Batman books come up. So I'm lucky, right? About 15 Spider-Man books come up. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna stick with the Batman books. There were 2 books called Dark Knight, The Legend of the Dark Knight. It was a Batman run called...
That's what he did.
That's what he did, right? And he did 2 issues of Legends of the Dark Knight, issue 83 and issue 84. So I type in Google, Legends of the Dark Knight, issue 84, PDF,
Oh, wow.
right? And I get this fucking website. So I'm like, all right, cool. And now I've done that before, and it's just a PDF like on Google Books or
Right.
Google Docs. Somebody made scans and uploaded it to the internet. This was a website that had the color, like, scans of the book.
Wow.
Like digital scans. Now, it's not like intuitive like Comixology where you flip pages. Like, you actually have to scroll down, like you're scrolling down a website page
Right.
to read the comic, so as all the pages are underneath one another.
Yeah.
But who gives a shit?
Right.
Right? So I'm reading it, and it's not the book. So I'm like, it's probably number 84. I wonder if this website has number 84. So I go to the top of the page, has a drop-down box where it said Legends of the Dark Knight 83. I drop down, it has all the issues.
Oh, wow.
Up to like through 200, right? Or whatever number it was. So I'm like, all right, 84. Boom. 84 comes up. Page 22 and 23. There's my artwork. I'm like, holy shit, there's
Okay.
my artwork, right? Go to eBay, Legends of the Dark Knight, 84. Boom, there it is. $4, free shipping. Boom, 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 boom. I get it in the mail. It's not the book. Okay?
Oh.
I go back to the website. Da-da-da-da-da. It was a digital-only comic. It never went to print. So it must have been a separate run of another comic, of
Right.
whatever. It was only a digital comic. So I bought this other book for $4 free shipping, and it wasn't the right one.
Oh, no.
Because the one I bought was from like the 80s. The one this guy drew was in like 2012 or something, 2015. So, but it was a digital copy only. And I noticed the old DC logo in the corner when I got it in the mail. I'm like, that's the old DC logo, like
Right.
with the stars around it. And the one that I looked at was like the D with the flap, like that kind of went over the DC. And I'm like, this isn't the same book.
Just print it from the website.
But I have to like go to Staples and get it printed like
Right.
on like nice
Yeah,
paper
yeah.
and color copy. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. But still, it was a little disappointing.
All that work.
All that work.
I mean, how would you know?
No. But the good thing that came out of it is I found this website.
Right.
So now I'm like, all right, well, let me check this website out. And at the top, it says new books. I go to new books, all the week's new books.
Oh, wow.
DC, Marvel, IDW, Black Mask, Dark Horse, all of them.
Holy cow.
Click on them, boom, there they are. You can add favorites.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants this website, email me privately at Dinner End Podcast, or on Twitter at Dinner End a Podcast, or Facebook or Instagram, and I will let you know what the website address is. It has every single... Dude, do you know how many books I've read that I wanted to pick up, but I was like,
Right.
I can't spend another $8. I wanted to read Justice League Dark, didn't pick it up, read it, it's really good. I wanted to read Super Sons, but I was like, I'm not buying a Super Sons book, read it, it's great. It's absolutely great.
All right.
Yeah, so check that. So now I might cancel Comixology
And just do that.
and just do that because I don't need anything else. So definitely let me know if you want that website address. I gave it to one of our listeners already, but if you want it, let me know. Let's see, what else did I do? I pre-ordered a Joker statue.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
To go with your Batman?
Yeah, so I had bought the Batman metal statue, which is fucking amazing. It's Batman, like it's the cover of the first metal issue,
Right.
with Batman with the 2 battle axes climbing out of the friggin' fire. That's what my statue that I have is. The Joker statue is the Batman who laughs.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's gonna go with him.
Yeah.
I went on Amazon. I was like, oh, let me. It was one of these like Instagram things where like it's a collectibles like store that says, oh, shop now at the bottom of
Yep.
it. And I was just flipping through it. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I hit shop now, and it brought me to like a black and white Joker who laughs. And I'm like, that's kind of cool, but my Batman isn't a black and white
Yeah.
version. It's the colorful color version. So let me go on to Amazon and see what else they have. And they had this friggin' insane looking statue, right? $45.
Really?
So I'm like, ugh, it's either 3 inches tall or it's plastic like your
mine.
like your X-23 statue. I was like, let me look at the details. It's 9 inches tall. And the Batman that I have is like 11. So it's 9 inches tall because he's leaning he's like on top of a rock leaning, kind of doing something. And it's all color. It's all painted color, nice. I pre-ordered it. It ships out on November 28th.
Okay.
So I'm pumped about that.
In the worst case, if it sucks, you just send it back.
Or it was $40.
Yeah.
I'll just get another one or whatever. Give that away to somebody. My son wanted to watch Justice League. So my son is obsessed.
The movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my son is obsessed with the Flash.
Okay.
He absolutely loves the Flash. That's his absolute favorite hero. He has a ring. He has a Flash ring that he takes everywhere with him. He wants to be Flash for Halloween. He saw me watching Justice League one day. He saw the Flash was on it. And he's like, he was sitting alone by himself this afternoon or last night. And he puts it on. And I walk in the room and I'm like, no, we can't watch this. Because the beginnings, he's 5.
Yeah.
The beginnings really, like with the Parademon and Batman.
It could be a scary movie for a kid.
Yeah. So I'm like, dude, nah, we can't watch this. This was last night. And he goes, but I want to watch The Flash. I want to watch the Justice League. The Flash is in this movie. You watch this movie. And I'm like, come downstairs. I have other Justice League stuff that you can watch. So now I'm hoping that Justice League Unlimited is still on Netflix. It's not.
Oh.
They took it off Netflix. I got rid of Cody, so I can't bring it up on Cody.
You'll probably bring it up on YouTube.
I didn't. That was going to be my last resort. So I have like a hard drive that I downloaded illegal movies from another website, and I have all the DC Unlimited, DC animated movies. And I was like, oh, I think he can watch Justice League Frontier or the New Frontier. I think it's called. Did you ever see that one?
Yes, it's like an old feel to it.
It's like it's placed in the 1950s.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, this one he can watch. And a lot of it's about the Flash, which was good. So we put that on. He really, really enjoyed that. But yeah, it was a good movie. I had watched it a while back. It's kind of like they don't know each other yet. Like the Justice League still hasn't formed yet, and they kind of have to like fight like some dinosaur pterodactyl thing, and then they become the Justice League. But a lot of it had to do with Flash, so that was pretty cool.
Just getting Justice League Unlimited and just put him in front of the TV. He'll be glued.
Oh, he'll be glued.
There's the other one too, Batman, Brave and the Bold. Yeah, that was like a newer kid version.
Okay.
And he teams up with different heroes. I'm sure he had to have teamed up with Flash. You could find that someplace.
Yeah.
Well, if you get DC's subscription thing, you should be able to get all that stuff.
100%. I did order it. Heard you ordered it too.
I'm gonna get it.
I pre-ordered it. I got the extra 3 months. So make sure you do that.
I was on there. I was reading something about they're doing a Doom Patrol.
Okay.
TV series.
Really?
Brendan Fraser's going to play the robot guy.
Oh, I heard about that.
I don't know anything about Doom Patrol.
Yeah, me neither.
I didn't even know they were doing a series.
Yeah.
I was like, what? What is this on?
Yeah.
It's on their streaming thing.
Cool.
And then they had Swamp Thing's coming to there.
Harley Quinn.
Yep.
That's a cartoon, though.
Titans.
And
then Young Justice, which I love, is going to their thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I thought it was going to be on Cartoon Network. I'll just watch it there. I got to get the streaming service to finish Young Justice. I'm like, well, you got me hooked now.
There's a cool video of the DC people doing a demo of the app.
Oh, really?
Like for an interview, and they're showing you how to use it on Roku. They're showing you how to use it on the iPad.
Wow.
It looks great.
They're doing also kind of like a Talking Dead show.
Oh, yeah?
On their channel.
Cool.
That's all about like comic DC news, what's going on in the universe. There's a big thing because Kevin Smith was hosting like their premiere of that show, and then I guess they're just gonna put it on their streaming network as well.
You could read the comics on your TV.
Really? I don't know how I feel about that.
Dude, friggin' 65-inch television, Jim Lee drawings.
I just like holding
Pretty cool.
them.
No, I know. Me too. I think it's going to be like Comixology or Marvel Unlimited, and because you're going to be limited to the.
But there's so much back stuff.
The release date. Yeah, sure.
I didn't get to DC until Rebirth.
Right.
Like I knew Flash and Batman. Like I read comics here or there. I never read full runs of anything. I never bought them.
You're a Marvel guy.
Yeah, but now I'm like I go to the store and it's more DC than Marvel now.
Oh sure, yeah.
I'm like they're doing a really great job.
Yeah.
So.
I want to get into Swamp Thing. I haven't gotten into Swamp Thing, but the stuff that I read of him in other books is really, really, really good. What else? Mr. Miracle finale's coming out soon.
Okay.
It's up to number 12. I don't know if we want to do a show on that. That's one of the. the guy won an Eisner for that. Tom King, the same guy who's been writing all the Batman.
As soon as it's
stuff.
finished, I'll buy it in like a trade, and I'll
because I've been
talk
buying
about
them.
it.
I've been buying them as issues.
You gave me one, and then I went to go buy the back issues.
Yeah, I couldn't find them.
And I couldn't find them.
Go to the website I told you.
I know, I'm going to now.
Go to that website. What else do I got here? I got a book here. It's called 2018 IDW Summer Insider. Some cool things look.
Yeah, a lot of cool things.
Right from the beginning, Transformers Unicron, which I can't believe we missed it.
I'm in.
Totally.
I'll find it.
6-part event series. Started in July.
We can find it, Steve.
Yeah, on that website we can definitely 100% we can find it on there. Unicron brings together everything that's made the IDW Transformers comics great. Mind-bending twists, heartfelt characters, grand scale action. All right, I'm in, man.
The art looks great.
It's all G1 looking art. It looks like Transformers the movie.
Yeah.
Like down here. Looks awesome. Because that's RC. RC looks good. Yeah, I'm totally in for that. What else we got? We got G.I. Joe Silent Option. How do you like...
I just read their recent story arc with the new run.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm 100% in on it.
Is this all chicks?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird story, a weird take on characters.
Yeah.
It could be because I just jumped in midway.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't read all the previous issues, so I was like, all right. I bought it for the covers. There's an artist that I really like. But
yeah. This I have no idea what it's about because I didn't know. Disney does have their own comic line, but I thought they would be published through Marvel. But I guess they're not.
They're not?
I guess not because it's here.
Huh.
Because now I've bought Christian Disney comics. I've bought Mickey Mouse comics and Donald Duck comics. And it doesn't say Marvel on it. It says Disney.
Oh, interesting.
But this is Star Wars Adventures Tales from Vader's Castle.
It looks cool.
Looks interesting. Everyone loves scary stories, and where better to tell them than in Darth Vader's very own spooky castle? I wonder if it's going to be like a children's kind of comic. Interesting. Looks cool. Dick Tracy comic book. Have you been reading Bebop and Rocksteady?
Nope.
Did you know it was out there?
I did, but I don't really enjoy the spin-offs of the Ninja Turtle stuff.
Okay. I want to try Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, wow.
I think that's going to be amazing. Look at that. Look at that cover. Oh, I love Summer as the elf with the Robin Hood hat and the bow and arrow.
Speaking of Rick and Morty, did you see the trailer for the new season?
No. Is it awesome?
It's good. It's really cool.
All right, we got to watch that later. But yeah, that looks pretty cool. So check out IDW in the upcoming months. When does
Did you see the trailer for the new Transformer series?
No, there's a new Transformer series?
Yeah.
No, I didn't check it out.
Oh, yeah.
After this, we'll check it out before we start with Sebi. The Rick and Morty is a 4-issue miniseries on sale in August, so look for that. Rocksteady's been going on. Rocksteady and Bebop, that's been going on.
Yeah, I see it in the stores every now and again.
Yeah, it is a 5-week event, so that might be coming to an end soon if you didn't get it now. So that's really all the news I got. How'd I do?
Fantastic.
All right. Fantastic. You knows it. So let's get into Siege. Mm-hmm. Phil Batista, thank you for recommending this to us. I really, really enjoyed it. We started a show last week. If you guys noticed, last week we didn't have a show.
Yeah.
A comic book show. And that's because it took me an hour and a half to get here 2 weeks ago. And we started recording it. And we got 25 minutes into it. And Sebi and Mike showed up to record dinner and a podcast so that we can they picked us up to go to the diner. And then we had to leave. So I sounded really sick because I was sick. If you listen to the last 4 episodes on our channel, I sound like I'm really dying. I don't know. I still sound pretty sick now, but I feel a lot better. Thanks for asking. But we had to cut it off. And instead of starting where we left off, because I would have sounded really sick and then not so sick, we just started over today. But basically what we talked about was Joe kind of gave us a recap of how we got to where Siege started. So if you don't mind doing that again, I'd appreciate it.
So Siege is kind of the aftermath of the Civil War storyline. And basically after Captain America's killed, Iron Man takes over S.H.I.E.L.D. There is the events of Secret Invasion with the Skrulls, and Norman Osborn comes in and saves the day from the Skrulls.
Okay.
And he gets appointed head of S.H.I.E.L.D. He changes S.H.I.E.L.D. to Hammer.
Yeah, he does.
He gets control of Avengers Tower. He gets all Stark's tech, and he puts together a team of Avengers, which are basically villains.
Yeah, which is so weird.
It's Venom, Bullseye, Moonstone, Tekken, and Ares and Sentry.
Now, can I ask you a question? Why did they dress up like the heroes?
Because he couldn't put them as villains to save the day.
Okay, it was like PR.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Venom becomes Black Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Dicken takes Wolverine's like brown costume. Moonstone becomes Miss Marvel. Bullseye becomes Hawkeye.
Because I'm reading it and I'm like, okay, all the Avengers now work for Norman. Because I didn't know the previous stuff.
Norman takes Iron Patriot kind of armor. And the other two, Sentry and Ares were part of an Avengers team prior. They just kind of stick around. I don't know how he coaxes them to stay.
Okay.
But they're there.
All right.
And basically, Siege is Asgard is now on Earth.
Which I thought was very interesting.
Ragnarok happens on Asgard. They're out of their 9 realms. It's on Earth above Oklahoma. Right?
Yeah.
Thor is kind of missing in all of this. All of the warriors that you know from the movies are kind of the main players. Heimdall, the Warriors 3, Sif, all of them. They're all there on Earth.
Yeah. They're like traveling. They're like going back and forth between Asgard and Earth.
The Siege books are all tied into other issues that kind of like build the story.
Okay.
It's like New Avengers, Thor, I think Spider-Man. Like they're all tied in.
Yeah.
But the main book is, the premise of the book is Asgard is on Earth. Norman Osborn wants it off, and he and Loki come up with a plan to get rid of it.
Right. And from what I understood of it was Norman, I don't think, cared until Loki brought it to his attention.
Yeah.
Because Loki wants to be on the throne of Asgard.
Yes, Loki wants Asgard, Norman wants control of the world.
Right.
And Loki kind of spins it, well, if you do this...
If you save Earth from Asgard, you'll be the ultimate hero, and they'll let you do whatever you want.
Exactly.
Which was a pretty cool way for Loki to be the main protagonist in this. It really was a Loki book, but you only see him at the very beginning and at the very end. He plants the seed of this whole idea.
Yeah.
He kind of convinces Norman that this is the right idea. And then they need Loki, Norman's like, I can't just invade Asgard.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to just let me invade Asgard, especially the United States government. So Loki's like, well, what if we had an event kind of like what started Civil War, right? Because Civil War started because people died in the crossfire of heroes.
Yeah, fighting,
right? So they stage this whole horrifying catastrophe with one of the Warriors 3.
Yep. At a football game.
At a football field. Was it Soldier Field?
Yeah, I think it was.
That's in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
And like the whole stadium blows up like in the middle of a football game. Like 50, 60,000 people died probably.
It's like Batman with Bane.
Yeah. But that's my Bane impression. But that was like the big event, and then it's Norman having to convince his team to go invade Asgard.
Yeah, and they're all like, "No, this is insane."
Yeah, like we can't fight the gods.
Yeah. He goes to the government and says, well, "This is how we need to retaliate," and they tell him no as well.
Yeah,
and he does it anyway.
Right.
He gets his Avengers. At the time, there was an Avengers initiative, like all new heroes or villains who were kind of reforming to be heroes.
Okay.
He gets all this whole armada of people to go and attack Asgard.
Right.
And basically, he catches it off guard.
Yeah, off guard.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
And he wins. He's winning.
He's winning. Yeah, totally winning.
Yeah.
Until, Captain America puts his fucking foot down. And it's like, we got to go stop this shit.
That's pretty cool.
That was one of the coolest parts of the book.
Yeah.
When you finally see Cap sitting in like a safe house somewhere, and he's watching TV and he's watching all the shit go down, and he's like, we got to stop this shit.
If there's a book that you should buy just for the cover, it's the New Avengers Siege tie-in of, it's Captain America, kind of like that Uncle Sam, like pointing, like, we want you.
Yeah.
And it's that like pose, but it's Captain America.
Oh, that's cool.
On the cover.
Yeah.
It's worth whatever it'll cost you to buy, maybe like $4.
Now, is this like a resurrected Cap from Civil War?
This is.
Okay.
So.
He's been brought back a bunch of times, huh?
Yeah, I can't remember what they did to bring him back.
But it's the original Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like the whole thing was, he's back, Bucky's Captain America.
Right.
He's like, Bucky, you do your thing.
And that was a cool part of this book.
Yeah.
Where Bucky's like, take the shield. And he's like, no, you're Captain America. He's like, take the fucking shield. Yeah. That was really cool. So he gets his own group of Avengers.
Yeah, so I mean, the newer Avengers are still wanted
Right.
from Civil War. Mm-hmm. So like Spider-Man, Wolverine, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, they're all like no one wants to deal with him.
Yeah.
But you have Iron Man, who's now he had a big issue in his book where he was mortally wounded and needed Captain America and Thor to help him get revived.
Okay.
You kind of see in this book he's like MIA. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have any of his tech.
He's like bedridden.
Yeah.
Like really bad.
Yeah.
And so, Maria Hill's taking care of him.
Yeah. All that's happening, and Thor shows up.
About time.
And he's like, "What's going on?"
Dude, the Thor artwork in this book is amazing.
Well, I believe it's the same guy who did the Thor run.
Okay.
Which is, if you can like find it on your app, pick it up.
But the artwork in this book is overall great. Mm-hmm. But the Thor stuff, you could tell that the guy drawing it, or the person drawing it, took extra care of those Thor pages. Because there were a couple like splash pages of Thor in the sky throwing his hammer and fighting somebody. He was fighting Sentry in this book. That was a great fight. So now, I got to ask you about Sentry. Mm-hmm. Sentry, he's a good guy, yeah?
Yes.
He was possessed in this story?
The thing with the Sentry is he's like the Superman of the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
But he has this demon that kind of gives him his powers.
Okay.
And then if things don't like happen a certain way, or he's kind of like psychotic, that this demon comes out, and once the demon's out, like there's really no stopping Sentry.
Because he at one point tears Ares in half.
Yeah, that's a gruesome artwork.
Guts everywhere, intestines everywhere. Now, you might be saying to yourself, why would he rip Ares? They're on the same team. Ares figures out
what's going on.
That this is a big trick from Loki or Osborn, because Osborn doesn't tell his team the truth.
Right. Osborn
doesn't tell his team, I want to rule the world and Loki wants the throne. He's telling his team that we got to defend America against this. And that Loki's on the throne and we gotta overthrow Loki.
Yep.
That was what he told his team. And then when his team gets there, and Ares is like, listen, brothers, because he's a god just like the Asgardians are gods. And he's like, I don't want to fight. Let's try to figure this out. Why is Loki on the throne? And they're like, Loki's not on the throne. Like, Thor's brother is on the throne, or whoever that guy was, his name Bader or something like that. I forget his name. And he's like, what? And then he figures out that Norman's tricking them all. So he starts to fight Sentry, and Sentry rips him in half, which was insane. But then Thor and Cap come to the rescue.
And that was kind of a cool part in the book where you have Thor's losing, the Avengers show up, they kind of like level the playing field and start to win.
Yeah.
And then Norman Osborn calls in all these villains. They kind of show up.
Yeah.
And then Iron Man comes in.
Yeah.
And then Nick Fury shows up with shield helicarrier. It's like, I had this in storage kind of thing. I'm like, wow, this is really cool that like the back and forth, the twist in the book. And at the end, they start to lose because the Sentry's demon comes out and no one can stop it.
Right. And he like kind of bullets his way through Asgard, doesn't he?
Yeah, they destroy the place.
Yeah, he destroys Asgard.
But you find out the big twist was the whole time Norman Osborn was kind of, his persona of the Green Goblin was in control.
Yeah.
And it was all part of his plan, which I would have liked to actually have seen the Green Goblin.
Yeah, me too.
But I guess I get what they were doing.
Yeah, they're setting up something else for what's to come later.
Yeah. There was a panel in the book where he's running away, and you just see him get knocked down from Captain America's shield.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
All right, Captain America means business.
And they end up beating the Sentry because the demon kind of...
They beat him. Well, Loki sacrifices himself.
Right, that's right.
So in the previous books, Loki was giving villains... Oh, they were called Norn Stones. And they gave them more power than what they had.
Okay.
He kind of takes them back from them, gives them to the heroes because he knows the heroes can stop it.
Yeah.
They kind of like hold it at bay. And then he's like, this isn't going to work. He takes the stones and he like launches himself into the demon.
Yeah.
And saves the day.
Okay. Which
seems to be Loki's MO. He does something bad and he's like, oh crap, I went too far. I got to fix this now.
Right. Ares is in 5 pieces on the ground. But one part of the book that I really enjoyed was like the briefings.
Yes.
Now, I normally see pages like that and turn the page and don't read those pages, especially on the tablet, because I was kind of just swiping
through. It's like a transcript.
Yeah, it kind of looked like it was an ad for something, because there was no drawings on it. There was just words,
Yeah.
like with names, or like it was an editorial page or something. I thought, I reached the end of the book. This is the editorial page where the author says something about the book. And it said like transcript from Norman Osborn's War Room. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I read it. Oh, that was really cool. And it's all the dialogue of him trying to convince his team to invade Asgard.
Right.
And then they did the same thing for Captain America's War Room, where he's trying to convince all his Avengers that we got to go save the world or something like that, which is really cool. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. So Phil Batista, thanks again.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want us to read, let us know. We're glad to do it. We'd love to have show topics.
We were talking about doing another request. What was it? The Wicked Righteous? Or something like that? Someone else requested?
Well, how about this? My friend Rob Russo, he had mentioned a whole bunch of books to read. But he has a special connection with the book Scarlet by Michael Bendis.
Okay.
Now, this is an old run that he did, but it's starting up new again next week. So do you want to do that book?
Sure.
You can do Scarlet #1
Yeah.
for next time?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so let's hear a word from our sponsor, and then we'll get into our other pull list.
Comic Book Corner, brought to you by Comic Book Jones, located at 2220 Forest Avenue in Staten Island, and Royal Collectibles at 9601 Metropolitan Avenue in Queens, New York. Visit these fine establishments for all of your comic book needs.
All right, so Joe, what else did you read this week, man?
So,
We got some things in common, I think.
Well, yeah, the one thing that we both love
Yeah.
was the Injustice versus Masters of the Universe. Number 2 came out.
And Phil loves this book, too.
Oh, it's amazing. It really is a beautiful, well-written book.
Freddie Williams II is one of my favorite artists ever.
I still think that if I came across him at a table at a Comic-Con, he had any of these pages available, I might pull a U and break the bank.
He has, if you go to his website, he has sketch warm-ups that he sells. And he's got one of Kang. I don't know if you're interested in that.
Huh.
That's the only good one really he has.
Is it a pretty penny?
I think it's like 100.
Oh, that's not
I
terrible.
don't know how big it is, though.
Not terrible. I gotta take a look at it.
Yeah, man, this book is great. So basically what happens is it's Injustice where, Superman is running amok on Earth, and the only thing that can stop him is magical stuff.
Yes.
So Batman, with his little crew of the Green Arrow, Harley Quinn, Zatanna, Catwoman, I don't know if is that Black Canary that he has? Yes, Black Canary. He goes to another realm.
Do we know who the Batman is in this?
It says the original in this book.
So who's the Batman that's with...
Maybe we'll find that out later. That's what I'm thinking. We'll find that out later.
Because this Batman doesn't have the temperament of Batman.
He's a little hot-tempered.
Yeah.
Like, he shows it in front of people.
Like, I'm thinking like this is like Robin, like a Robin of some sort.
You think so? That would be cool. I think it's a future Tim Drake?
Well, I know in the Injustice books, Dick Grayson dies.
Okay.
I think, but who knows?
So Batman goes into another realm and gets He-Man because He-Man is magical and Superman is kind of, he can, like, the only two things that can hurt him are magical things or kryptonite. So, what Superman's people are doing is they're scouring the multiverse for magical artifacts and collecting them, and they're using Skeletor to help collect magical artifacts.
Well, he tells them there's one that it is the most powerful thing that you can have.
Right.
And it's the sword.
Yeah. Does he tell him it's the sword?
Yeah, he actually finds it.
Oh, okay. I thought that was Skeletor's sword. Batman does some research and goes into this other realm, gets He-Man, brings him back to Earth, and in this book, he brings He-Man back to Earth and kind of gives him the lowdown of his plan.
Right.
Batman has this whole plan and how he's going to break into where Superman is hiding. But there's a problem because all of Superman's soldiers wear Brainiac tech suits. And those suits kind of invade the brains of the people wearing the suits. So, and that's how he has mind control over them. Or Batman, the original Batman, has mind control over them. And the original Batman, who's locked into Brainiac technology, doing like pre-crime kind of stuff, like Minority Report kind of stuff, which is what I really, really enjoy because I'm a big Minority Report fan. So like Bane has one of these outfits on, and a whole bunch of other heroes and villains have these Brainiac suits on, and Batman's controlling these individuals, and he can see crimes before they happen. So there was this girl that was going to kill herself, and she jumps off a building, and He-Man broke orders. He-Man was supposed to stay put by Batman's orders, and he decides to go out and check out the world with Orko, and he saves this girl.
Yep.
So Bane, and I don't know who the girl is. Do you know who the girl is?
I don't know.
With the copperhead on?
I thought it was Tila, but it's a villain from the DC universe.
Yep. But Bane show up, and this other female villain show up to kind of arrest the girl for trying to kill herself, which is like a thought crime kind of thing. And He-Man destroys Bane, which I thought was so cool. The fight between He-Man and Bane was so one-sided on He-Man's side, which was awesome because it really shows you the power of He-Man. And then he takes the suits, and he brings it back to Batman, and Batman's like, I told you not to leave. And he's like, well, I got a plan, and he's wearing the suit. Now they can just walk right in, which is really cool.
The one thing I like is, I mean, I know you don't know a lot about Masters of the Universe, but Orko is like the clown of the series. Yeah. Like he never does anything right.
Right.
And you see in this book, he's like, wow, like my magic actually does something. I'm actually powerful in this world.
Yeah. He says, he actually mentions that.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's a really cool like throwback to like people who know about that stuff.
Yeah. And the fact now this pre-crime was able to happen.
Right.
They don't arrest the girl because Bane gets his ass kicked. And now that he doesn't have the suit on anymore, he's confused and he's kind of just Bane again.
Yep.
He's not Bane controlled by Batman. So the Batman who's hooked up to the Brainiac stuff, who's controlling all the soldiers, is like, he's having like a panic attack because he doesn't know why
this is happening.
He doesn't understand why the person wasn't arrested. He doesn't understand why he lost two soldiers that he was controlling. And this is when Skeletor kind of figures out maybe something's awry on this planet. And that's when they tell us that it's the original Bruce Wayne. I can't find it in here, but I know they says he's the original at one point. But yeah, man, I really like this. The colors are amazing. Look at Prince Adam.
Yeah.
In Bane's. Now, is this gonna take control of his brain?
I think he's immune to it.
Okay,
because he's magic.
Because He-Man now has on the Brainiac suit.
Yep.
That has been allowing Batman to control the minds of whoever wears the suits. So I'm wondering if that's going to have some type of effect on him. But like you said, he might be immune to it. But he might be the only one that's going to be able to wear it.
Yep.
Here it says, he goes, okay. So Batman says, error, subject escaped justice. And it says, oh, that really gets his goat, doesn't it? Or perhaps the great original Batman just doesn't like being sidelined. That's what Skeletor says. So I wonder what that means. So that's definitely Bruce. That's Bruce Wayne from our Earth. I wonder who this other Batman is. That's a good. I was thinking it, but I didn't think, because they got Jason Todd. So it's not it's not Jason Todd. Yeah. We know that. So it's either Dick Grayson or Tim Drake.
Huh.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or it's another Bruce from another multiverse.
Could be.
Could be another Bruce.
Maybe they're pulling He-Man from someplace else.
Maybe it's Thomas Wayne.
Ooh.
It doesn't have the shoulder pads though. Those shoulder horns. That's pretty cool. What else we got?
You were reading the Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern.
This and the Batman book are the only two books that I have numbers 1 through 50 on.
Really?
Yes. I stopped reading Flash. I stopped reading Wonder Woman. But I never stopped reading Batman. I never stopped reading Hal Jordan.
The Green Lantern was one of the books that I didn't pick up. Mm-hmm. I stopped reading.
Yeah.
I picked this up because it was the extra size anniversary issue. Yeah. And you open up the page, and page 1, it's Green Lantern fighting what used to be another Green Lantern.
Tomar 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, one of the first books that I ever read comic book wise was Green Lantern fighting Sinestro, who before he was like a Yellow Lantern or a villain was a Green Lantern. And like it was a whole thing. I was like, wait, 2 Green Lanterns are fighting? What's this about? And that kind of like got me into comics.
Yeah, yeah.
But
so seeing this was like,
I was like, wow, this is great. So like I'll pick it up, and if it's the end, and I can always just backtrack and put the story together.
Yeah.
You know, if I really like the book, and it was a great story.
Dude, you should have been reading it from issue 1, man. Because I don't know how far back it goes with this particular character. This character, Tomar 2, he kind of has like a fish mohawk looking thing, but a bird beak and like Spock ears. But his dad was a Green Lantern as well. And he's a Green Lantern. And he goes over the line and kills a Yellow Lantern.
Right.
And he's put in the Cinecells on Oa. He then breaks out and becomes a Dark Star because of all his rage.
Right.
And the past 5 books have been all about how the Green Lanterns are going to stop the Dark Stars. They recruit a whole bunch of people. Yeah,
it's like a who's who of like heroes, villains, other like colored lanterns.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, this is really cool.
The Yellow Lanterns are helping fight because Sinestro's not in the picture anymore.
Right.
Sinestro has been beaten by Hal Jordan in like issue like 5 or 6 or something like that. Zod is in this book with his family, with the other Zods. That started around issue 43 or 44. There were 3 different issues with the Zods. And this is like basically this is the finale of the whole book, but this is the finale of the Dark Star story as well. So these Dark Stars are basically the bad cops.
Right.
Right? They're the bad cops of the universe. They want justice by like death penalty. So unlike the Green Lanterns, they don't want trials. They don't want, juries. They don't want you to be reformed. You do something wrong, you're dead. That's how it goes with the Dark Stars. And you can imagine how the good police, the good cops, don't want this to happen.
Yep.
So this book is pretty much just how the Green Lanterns have to cooperate with Zod and have to cooperate with the Yellow Lanterns in order to stop this force. And they lose a lot of people. And I thought there was going to be a bigger conclusion than what actually happened.
I kind of liked it.
It wasn't a bad conclusion, but it's the same conclusion that started the book, in a way.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the book, the first 5 issues, is about Hal forging his own ring out of his own will. So it's the most powerful.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's the most powerful ring in the universe of all the Green Lantern rings. And then he kills Sinestro with using all of the will of him. Right? He transforms himself into will and destroys Sinestro. And that's what he does here. He does the same thing. Because he has to...
Yeah.
It's because there's these entities, I forget the names of them. The controllers, I think they're called. And the controllers are kind of powering the Dark Stars. They created the Dark Stars, and the Dark Stars kind of hijacked them and using their power to control, to help them beat the Green Lanterns. So all of the Dark Stars, there are like hundreds and thousands of them. They can all see each other's thoughts because they're all linked into the controllers. So what Hal has to do, Hal brought Hammond, the big brain guy. He brought him in to kind of lock into the controllers' minds, and then Hal has to destroy the controllers' connection to the Dark Stars.
Got it.
Because the only reason they're losing to the Dark Stars is because the Dark Stars know what they're going to do one step ahead of when they do it. So it makes it really hard for the Green Lanterns to win when the opposing team knows everything that they're going to do before they do it. So they have to sever this connection to the controllers, and that's what Hal does. Hal just uses all his energy to do that. And then at the end, you see a whole shitload of Green Lantern rings go from Oa and to look for new Green Lanterns, which I don't know if I like or not, because now we're going to get new Green Lanterns. And I don't like the new Green Lanterns that are already here. I don't like Jessica Cruz. I don't like the other guy that have their own books. It's called Green Lanterns.
I don't know if you're going to get new lanterns that they're going to tell stories about. I think you're just going to they're just going to fill the ranks again.
Okay, that would be cool. And at the end, he goes and sees Carol.
But how does this tie into what's going on in Justice League? You think at some point it's going to?
Well, this is kind of totally separate because John Stewart's with the core here.
Yeah.
Where in Justice League, John Stewart's with the Justice League.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know when in continuity did this happen already. Like, is this a past story that has already occurred?
Right.
And because Hal doesn't show up in Justice League.
Yeah.
Right? Hal hasn't shown up in the Justice League.
No,
it's only been John Stewart. Yep. So maybe this whole thing where he goes and sees Carol at the end of this book, maybe he takes a break from superheroing a little bit. I'm not sure. It was good.
I liked it. It was really cool.
The run has been very good. I've enjoyed it a lot. I've enjoyed Venditti's. I think he did all 50 issues, Venditti. The artwork is absolutely phenomenal in this book. I would definitely go pick it up. There's probably has to be about 10 trades of it now, of all the different storylines. But definitely check that out. And the last one that we read together, or not together, but the last book that we both read was Superman #2.
Yep.
Oh no, Fantastic Four.
We'll get there.
Oh man, don't forget that one. This one was pretty cool.
I liked it.
Yeah, this book's... I like the whole Bendis line so far. I know it's getting a lot of heat.
I like the whole Superman. Someone asked Superman, how do you keep track of what's going on? It must be a burden.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, like I don't turn it off.
Yeah.
It makes me feel part of this world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's not overwhelmed by everything, even though he is.
Yeah.
That's not the reason why he does this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a cool story. It's a great take on where it left off with Man of Steel.
Yeah.
With what's that guy?
Rogol Zaar.
Yeah. You get his history.
Yeah, which is really cool because a lot of people, I think we're going to get it in bits. And I like that. I don't mind getting it in bits as long as we get it. I didn't need a whole book telling me about him and his backstory.
Yep.
And I don't mind the way they're doing it. It opens up where Rogol Zaar is invading Tamarin.
Yep.
Which is where Starfire is from. And he destroys the whole civilization. So you kind of get a backstory for Starfire as well and her people.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Now, the previous book, #1, leaves off with Earth being inside the Phantom Zone.
Yes, and something's happening to Earth.
Right. It's kind of becoming unhinged.
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't be in the Phantom Zone. And all the people that were on Earth are in the Phantom Zone. All the Justice League is in the Phantom Zone with it. And all their powers are getting messed up. Like the Flash, the Speed Force is getting all messed up.
Yeah,
with
and
the
they're
Flash.
like, Superman, what's going on?
Yeah. Superman doesn't know what to do.
Yep.
And Rogol Zaar is there. And it's going to be a war. Because what Rogol Zaar is doing is he's getting all the people that Superman has banished to the Phantom Zone to go fight Superman, which is really cool.
Did you enjoy the bad guy from Superman 3 in there? Or is it Superman 3, Superman 4?
Was it like Nuclear Man or something?
Yeah. I forgot what his name is.
I thought he was dead.
I mean, in the
movie,
he's created just for the movie.
Right.
But to see him here, I was like, oh.
I think that's Bendis being Bendis. I think that's Bendis being... I don't give a shit. I'm Michael Bendis.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool... Well, for what it was a great throwback.
I think so, too.
Because he... I mean, spoiler alert, he dies.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, this is really cool.
And I like how Rogol Zaar kind of just smashes him into the ground.
Pops his head.
He pops his head. Is he dead? Yeah, he's dead. Yeah, there he goes. But yeah, so basically Rogol Zaar is looking for all the bad guys that Superman banished to the Phantom Zone, and he's going to go fight Superman with them. And Superman really doesn't have any help because the Justice League is losing their powers.
Yeah.
Poor Flash. Now this weirded me out. The last 2 pages, he's talking to Flash, right?
Right.
And he's calling him Barry. So it has to be Barry Allen Flash.
Uh-huh.
If you turn the page to the last page, he's got red hair.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Wally red. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I actually had to go back a page and be like, did he ever say Barry or did he say Wally at some point? Because that is unmistakably red ginger hair.
Maybe he dyed his hair. Maybe want to get rid of the grays.
He's got blonde hair. He's the Flash.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I do like how in the first issue he's looking for his family.
Yeah.
And in this one he's like, they'll find me. They're okay. They've always been okay.
Yeah.
I have other things that need to get taken care of before I can find them.
Right.
And I really like that.
Yeah,
Because
me too.
Superman was like, he's not as vulnerable as you think.
Yeah. Oh, the big one. Next up, the big one. Fantastic Four #1. What cover did you get? There were like 15 different covers.
I bought 2.
You bought 2?
I bought 2.
All right.
I got a Simonson cover.
Wait, hold on. There we go. Yeah.
I got a Simonson cover.
Yeah.
And I got an Arthur Adams cover.
Ooh.
You know when we went to Comic-Con and we saw his giant poster, Arthur
Yes.
Adams, that I
Yes,
wanted
I
to get?
do.
I think this was the artwork for it.
Okay.
I'm kind of pissed I didn't buy it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think.
What did you think about the book?
I loved it.
Oh, fuck. I hated this book.
It's the Batman wedding for us.
Fucking hated this book. This is the Batman wedding book. I loved the Batman wedding book, and Joe hated it.
Why?
This has... is this an extension of the 2-in-1?
Yes.
Or is it not an extension
No,
of the
it's
2-in-1?
an extension.
Because I'm current on the 2-in-1,
Right.
And they're still in some other fucking multiverse without their powers.
They're still in another multiverse now.
Wrong. They're home.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. They're home. They're home, and they're the Thing again. He's the Thing again.
Oh, you meant the Thing in the Human Torch.
Yeah.
You meant
No. Thing in the Human Torch in Marvel 2-in-1 is in some other multiverse
Right.
without their powers, and they have not gotten home yet. Now you jump to Fantastic Four #1, and they're home, and they're at Mets games. They got their powers back. This spoiler alert, they just ruined. I don't get me wrong. I knew they were going to get their powers back eventually,
Right.
but how the fuck did they get their powers back? Why did I read 7 issues of Marvel 2-in-1? I fucking hate Dan Slott. I hate Dan Slott. Next, besides that, what does any of this have to do with anything? Somebody steals something out of their apartment.
yeah, some kids.
Some kids can break in to the Fantastic Four. That's your main.
No, they break into Thing's house.
All right. Why? Why are kids doing that, and why aren't they getting in trouble?
They did.
No, they didn't. They let them go.
Yeah, well, the Human Torch wanted to press charges. The Thing didn't.
This sucks.
I liked it.
This book
I thought
sucks.
it was a good. It played on their emotions from the 2-in-1s. You had a milestone in the book.
I have notes on this. What do my notes say?
Things getting married.
Kids play a trick on Ben and Johnny. Alicia and Ben get engaged. The 4 symbol sent from Reed. The best part of this book were the last 2 pages,
Yeah.
where Reed Richards sends the friggin' Fantastic Four symbol out from another planet.
It's cool, like all the heroes that are like watching that happen.
This sucks. This stinks. It stinks and I don't like it.
All right.
He engages. He proposes to his girlfriend with some artifact that they found from a previous adventure. Come on. Thank God the cover's cool, because I would have thrown this book out. I hated this book.
I liked it.
I hate Dan Slott. It wasn't. You know what? I got to give it to him on one thing though, because Dan Slott is usually very preachy with his politics. He wasn't in this book.
Okay.
So at least that was going for him. You know, I heard he's getting real preachy in the Tony Stark book.
I have issues 2 and 3, so I'll see what happens.
It's all
there.
about appropriation.
Yes, it's robots.
Anyway, what else do you read?
I picked up 2 books I don't normally read.
Yeah.
Because I bought Green Lantern number 50, and these were extra size anniversary issues, number 25 of each.
Okay.
One was Batgirl.
Yeah.
Which I pick up sporadically depending on like the covers and the story arcs, and the other one was Red Hood and the Outlaws. Same thing.
I heard Batgirl's getting a revamp.
Really?
Yeah. This might be the one. She got a new outfit?
Not really. This one, it's about she's trying to find a villain who did something terrible, right? And the long story short is she saves a guy that this villain was holding hostage. He ends up dying. He's the guy that dies at the wedding in the Batman run,
okay.
right?
Okay.
And she goes to the funeral to pay her respects. Like this was someone she saved, but she couldn't be there the second time.
Okay.
And she kind of has a breakdown about being a hero.
Okay.
And the mom of the son kind of finds her, and she's like, you know, you gave my son a second chance. Because of you, he was able to get married. Mm-hmm. It's not your fault that this happened.
Right.
And, you know, you need to keep doing what you're doing and this and that. And it's a really cool...
You think that leads into Heroes in Crisis?
Maybe. But later in the book, she kind of, like, has to, like, lean on somebody. Like, she keeps saying, you know, doing this, you're always alone.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need someone to, like, lean on. Mm-hmm. And it's her and Dick Grayson's relationship.
Oh, okay.
And they kind of meet up for, like, what you think is a booty call.
Yeah.
But they just wanted, like, it just ends up them just, like, hanging out and cuddling.
Oh,
yeah.
Just Netflix and no
yeah,
chilling.
Yeah. But it was a cool story on Batgirl. It was a hopeless romantic. Like,
okay, cool.
And I guess the romance is being a hero without any reward.
Right.
You know? But it was a really cool book.
Nice.
The other one was the Red Hood and the Outlaws. I picked it up because it's the Red Hood punching Batman.
Oh, wow.
And basically, the Red Hood goes overboard.
Okay.
Like, he crosses a line that Batman does not like. And he shows up to tell him.
Okay.
The cops are all looking for the Red Hood. He's got this invisible, like, ship that's going to crash into the city because he has no control over it. Bizarro is the pilot. You have Artemis, which is an Amazonian. Mm-hmm. They're, like, part of his team. And basically, it's the Red Hood against Batman.
Okay.
And it's great artwork, it's a great battle. Batman's just had enough. He's like, you don't deserve to wear.
That's a great panel.
You don't deserve to wear my symbol. You don't deserve to be part of this family.
Ooh.
Oh, it was a deep book.
Wow. I love panels of just Batman's face.
Yeah.
Grimacing.
So eventually they do something to like reverse the ship from like crashing to Earth. Mm-hmm. But in order to do it, Artemis and Bizarro have to like guide it to where it's going. I think they go to like another portal.
Yeah.
And they leave Red Hood alone.
Okay.
He's not a member of the Bat family.
Oof.
He's all beat up, and who comes to save him? Arsenal.
Cool.
It was a really cool book.
I got 3 Batman books and a Bendis book.
Tell me about the Bendis one, because I know you were excited to read that. Is that the Pearl book?
Yeah, it's called Pearl. It's a new Bendis book. It says Jinx World at the bottom. I guess that's his own little world.
I saw it in the store. I was going to pick it up. I figured I'll let you tell me about it first.
It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. The artwork is... It looks like somebody copied pictures. Mm-hmm. It looks like somebody scanned pictures of people and then just kind of drew over the people. So I'm not that into the artwork. It's not a superhero book by any means. Pearl is a tattoo artist who has a tattoo from the most famous tattooer in the world that gave her this tattoo for free. Now, like, people can't get tattoos from this guy normally.
Okay.
It's like super rare, right? And she's hanging out in the bar and her tattoo is on her wrist and it's showing. And some guy walks up to her and says, "Is that a Biaggi?" Or what? I'm not making up the name because I can't remember the tattoo artist. And she's like, "Yeah, how'd you know that just by looking at it?" He goes, "Oh, that's on my, I can't believe it. I can't believe I met somebody that has a tattoo from this person." And they start talking, and they're in a club while this is happening. And she had told her friend, she goes, the first guy who recognizes where this tattoo is from, I'm going to sleep with. And her friend comes over and she goes, remember what I said? Well, somebody just recognized it. So she goes over to talk to this guy again. And as she goes over and talks to him, like the Yakuza show up, because she's Asian and they're in China, I think. The Yakuza show up and there's like a gunfight. And the guy she was talking to was like in the middle of it. And she pulls out a gun and shoots and kills like 4 Yakuza and leaves, right? So she goes home to her like ink or tattoo parlor. Like, I guess she lives on top of it or whatever. And like this mobster comes in and was like, "Mr. Mike wants to talk to you." And she goes into Mr. Mike.
Is that his name?
That's his name, Mr. Mike. That's the only one I remember. Pearl and Mr. Mike. And Mr. Mike's like, "Listen, I'm not mad at you."
I'm going to call him Mr. Mike now.
Mr. Mike. He's like, "Listen, I'm not mad at you, but I didn't know you had those types of skills," because she was just known as a tattoo artist. And it goes back into her life a little bit, and her father gives her this gun when she's a little girl, like 14-year-old girl.
Sounds like Silencer a little bit.
Oh, really? She's like 14. Dad's like, "Listen, here's a gun. You got to protect yourself. Anybody ever touches you, you shoot them, and then you call me. Don't call the cops," kind of thing. So this is the first time she ever used the gun.
Right.
And now this Mr. Mike, who's like the head mobster, is like, you're gonna be my new assassin."
What?
And she's like, "I can't be your assassin," and he just fucking smacks her across the face and is like, "You're gonna be my fucking assassin, or you're gonna die." And she goes, "Cool," and that's how the book ends. So, kind of weird, kind of cool.
Okay, it could go one of two ways.
Yeah.
It could be like her just like faking her way as an assassin.
Yeah.
Or her actually becoming an assassin.
Right.
So it sounds interesting.
Yeah. And then the guy that she saved shows up at the end and kind of talking to her about tattoos again.
So,
yeah.
How about that tattoo fight?
Right. He basically says, "Thanks for saving me."
You would tattoo that guy across the face with a bullet.
Batman number 53 was the finale of Cold Days.
Okay.
Where he was on the trial, where he was on the jury. Ends up that he bribed his way onto the jury. He wasn't just randomly selected to be on a jury. No, that's actually pretty good. I'm like, what are the chances of him randomly being on the Mr. Freeze case? Right? Like, he bribed himself onto the jury.
Batman's breaking all these crimes.
What? He's breaking crimes?
Yeah. The same thing that he like.
Well, no, he knows that Freeze is not guilty for this particular crime. He knows that he went overboard because he was pissed off about the wedding, and he wants to do the right thing by Freeze.
So he goes overboard.
Yeah.
Because he can't control his emotions.
Right, because he's all
and then
whiny.
To fix it, he breaks a law, bribes his way onto a jury. Yeah.
And then convinces the jury that Batman...
He's mad at Jason Todd for doing something overboard.
Right. Well, I mean, he's correcting himself.
Yep.
Like, Jason Todd wasn't correcting himself. No. He had to correct Jason Todd.
He killed somebody.
Yeah. So, Batman, Tom King did it in a very cool way where Bruce Wayne is like, "Listen, we all think of Batman as a god because we think he can't do anything wrong, but he's not a god, he's a man.
Okay.
And men are fallible, and Batman is fallible because he's a man, so therefore he could have gone overboard, blah, 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 blah. They not guilty verdict. At the end, he goes back to Alfred at the house, tells him what happened, and he says, should I get your uniform for you, sir? He goes, I want the original one. I don't want the one where she stood me up in. So he goes back to the original, like, gray and dark blue Batman costume at the end, which is pretty cool. It's not the all black costume anymore.
Get off, Mr. Freeze?
Yes, Mr. Freeze gets off all over the place. Oh,
it's
man.
a whiteout.
It is a whiteout. Detective Comics. I talked about Detective Comics last show. This is the finale of that Karma story I was talking about.
Okay.
There was a new villain called Karma who has a weird mask. It's called On the Outside finale. He's a pretty cool character, actually.
Yeah.
He's a guy that Batman beat up back in the day, and he was like a drug runner. And he beats him up and gives him scarecrow toxin, whatever, the scare toxin, whatever it is. And he says, how could you, don't leave me like this, don't leave me like this. And Batman goes, it's karma for all the shit that you've done wrong. So he calls himself Karma as a villain. And he gets this mask.
He comes back to get Batman.
Yeah, he buys this mask. And this
goes around, comes around. Is that his tagline? Is that his shirt?
It should be, right? Instant karma should be the tagline. It could be. Oh my God, that's funny. He's bald like Sebi. But the mask is like telepathic.
Right.
So he could see people's minds.
Okay.
He could see what people are thinking.
Where does he get the mask from?
In Russia somewhere.
Okay.
He buys it from some lady in Russia. It ends up that Batman finds out that this is alien tech. It's Brainiac tech.
Oh.
So he's tied to the mask.
Right.
So now Batman's been getting his ass kicked for 4 issues because this guy can see what he's thinking. So the way Batman goes into beating him is he lets all his horrible memories out into his brain, and it overwhelms this guy's head. Like some of the memories that he unleashes into this guy's head.
Let me guess. One of them's him getting stood up.
Is it? Yeah, it is. Well, one of them is the bats that he's scared of. Another one is Jason Todd getting killed. One is the guy killing his parents. Two-Face becoming Two-Face.
Bane breaking his back.
Ra's al Ghul laughing at him. I don't know what that's about. That's definitely Catwoman. I don't know why she's licking her lips, but this like overwhelms him and like knocks him off his game a little bit. So then Batman rips the mask off, and once he rips the mask off, he's just a normal guy, and they bring him to Arkham Asylum. So that was a pretty cool ending to that book. And the last book is another Batman book. It's called Batman Kings of Fear. I have no idea what this book is about. I have no idea where they're going with this book. But I gotta say, it's some of the worst artwork I've ever seen in my life.
You said that about another one that you read. That was a Batman like tie-in like that.
Yeah.
Was it the one with the kid with the demon?
That's weird artwork, but it's not bad.
Okay.
It's not bad. That's Creature of the Night. I can't wait for that to come out. It's not slotted to come out for a while. But look at this art. Now the Joker artwork, it looks like Cesar Romero.
Yep.
That's number one. Okay, which is fine. I don't mind Cesar Romero. Look at this Batman. Like, his leg doesn't look like it's in the right spot.
It's 2 times over.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Size.
So, like, the Joker's in, like, a bar, and he's kind of egging Batman on to come out and get him, and he hurts a guy, and Batman comes out, and Batman puts him in the Batmobile, and they're driving to Arkham, and then he gets to Arkham. Look at that face, dude. Look at that Batman face. Isn't that terrible? So they get to Arkham, and then there's a nurse at Arkham who's, like, yelling at Batman, like, you can't just barge in here like you own the place, and Batman's like, well, tough shit.
I'm Batman.
I'm fucking Batman. And then all of a sudden, like, look at this. Yeah, look. He's talking to the girl. He's got the Joker. He's talking to the girl, right?
Right.
All of a sudden, I don't know what happens, right? And all of the bad guys are here now. From one panel,
wow.
he's holding the Joker, like, in handcuffs, talking to a nurse. The next page, you have Bane, Poison Ivy, Penguin, Joker, Two-Face, Mr. Freeze, and Killer Croc. They have all escaped Arkham Asylum in one panel.
And they're there where Batman is.
Batman kicks all their asses, which is fine. I don't mind Batman kicking all their asses. Look at Batman here. Does he look disproportioned? His legs look really long. His package is huge. I don't know what he's packing in there, but good for him.
Batarangs.
Yeah. And then Scarecrow gets out. Okay? Scarecrow escapes. He doesn't beat up Scarecrow.
I'm always leery to buy these kind of books.
Scarecrow escapes, and then he kind of runs he runs outside to get Scarecrow, and Scarecrow hits him with the toxin.
This is kind of like the one that Kevin Smith wrote, and what's his name from Comic Men drew.
Yes. Yeah, what's his face? I can't remember his name.
Walt Flanagan.
Look at that leg. Look at that leg.
Yeah, it's broken.
Like this one, I kind of think is in the dream sequence of the toxin.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see him being stretched out funny, but I don't know, man. I
wonder how they get appointed to these books and this artwork gets approved.
I don't mind the weird artwork if the story's good, but I have no idea what that was about. I have no idea. The Joker did something. He captured him, brought him to Arkham. Everyone breaks out, and Scarecrow's out. And on that bombshell, I think we're going to call it a night. We like some books. We like most books. I think we're pretty easy on books.
Yeah. If it's a good story, good artwork, we're pretty easy to please.
Yeah. Want to thank Phil Batista one more time for telling us to read Siege. We really enjoyed it, and keep the suggestions coming. Everybody out there, we need suggestions from you. We appreciate it. We get really good listenership, so we want to hear what you guys want us to read or reread. I just reread Blackest Night. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit. But next week we're going to do Scarlet #1 for Rob Russo, my buddy Rob Russo from T-Ball. So until next week, I'm Steve.
I'm Joe.
Keep reading comics, everybody. Talk to you later.